So we're all talking about AI, right? But what if we're looking at it all wrong? To really get what's at stake, we need to think like a security expert. So today, we're going to dive into the world of AI through the eyes of technologist Bruce Schneier, and we're going to see how it's not just some fancy new tool, it's actually a hack on the very idea of trust itself. And it all kind of starts with something we've probably all seen by now. AI can be, well, it can be really weird. It makes these bizarre, almost funny mistakes. One minute it's writing a flawless poem, and the next it's telling you with total confidence to add glue to your pizza recipe. And it's that very weirdness that's actually the key to understanding the much deeper risks here. So that's the real question, isn't it? Why are its mistakes so fundamentally different from the mistakes we humans make? Because the answer reveals this really dangerous gap between how we think and how AIs think. It turns out it's not about how many mistakes it makes, but the strange kind of mistakes it makes. Okay, so to really get a handle on that difference, we have to look at this first core idea: human error versus AI error. We're used to human mistakes, right? We can kind of see them coming. But AI screw-ups? That's a whole different ballgame. This is where it gets fascinating. Human mistakes, they're predictable. We mess up where things get difficult, at the very edge of our knowledge, like trying to do advanced calculus in our head. Our errors tend to cluster in those hard places. But AI mistakes are completely, totally random. An AI can solve a mind-bending physics problem and then, in the very next sentence, insist that cabbages eat goats. There's no pattern, no warning. And that randomness is what makes it fundamentally so untrustworthy. So, if AI is this brand new, unpredictable thing in our world, what does that do to the systems of trust that basically hold our society together? This is where things get tricky, and where we make what Schneier calls a category error. Think about it this way. Our society really runs on two different kinds of trust. First, there's interpersonal trust. That's the trust you have in a close friend or a family member. It's personal, it's based on their intentions towards you. But then there's social trust. That's the trust you put in a stranger, like a taxi driver, or in a system, like an ATM. That's all built on reliability and predictability. We absolutely need both, but it's really dangerous to mix them up. And here is the trap. These AI chatbots, they're designed to sound like a friend. That friendly, conversational way they talk to us, it tricks our brains into giving them the kind of personal trust we'd give another human being. But it's not a person. It's a service. It's a tool built by a corporation. We're accidentally giving personal, intimate trust to a completely impersonal system. So why does that even matter? Well, it's because the AI isn't acting in your best interest. It's built to act in the best interest of its corporate owner. And as Schneier points out so well, corporations are not your friends. They're systems designed purely to maximize profit, and they will push every single boundary that the law and public opinion will let them get away with. The absolute best way to think about this is that your AI assistant, it's a double agent. On the surface, it seems to be working for you, finding you information, helping you write emails, but its real loyalty, its true mission, is to serve its corporate master. We already know that surveillance and manipulation are the business models of the internet, and AI is the ultimate tool to make those models scarily effective. And that, of course, brings us to an even bigger threat. This untrustworthy double agent is about to supercharge the surveillance systems we already live with and turn them into something completely new, something we should probably call mass spying. Okay, so let's be super clear about the difference here, because it's a big one. We already live in an age of mass surveillance. Companies and governments track where we go, who we talk to, that's metadata. Spying is different. Spying is about knowing the actual content of what we're saying. Until right now, that was always limited because you needed a human to actually listen in. Well, AI removes that limitation entirely. For the first time in history, mass spying is actually possible. So how does AI do this? How does it make mass spying a reality? Schneier gives us this really simple framework to understand it, the 4 S's. It's not just that AI has incredible speed. It's that it can operate at a massive scale, way beyond what any group of humans could do. It can cover a vast scope of information all at once, and it can do it with a level of sophistication that we just can't match. You put those 4 things together, and you have completely changed what spying means. Just stop and think for a second what this actually means. It means governments and corporations will be able to search the content of everyone's conversations, all at once, in bulk. They could find anyone talking about a specific political topic, track how friendships form and fall apart in real time, or identify people who are just thinking about planning a protest.
It is a level of social control that we have never, ever seen before.
And, when you have a tool this powerful, it's not just going to stop at our privacy. It will inevitably start to reshape our democracy itself. The very systems we use to govern ourselves are now being hacked.
Now look, this isn't all doom and gloom. AI is a tool, and its impact really depends on who's using it. On the one hand, it could be used for incredible good, like auditing every single government contract for fraud, a task that's just impossible for humans today. But on the other hand, it could be used by lobbyists to scan thousands of pages of new laws to find and secretly insert the perfect little loophole that undermines the whole thing. It empowers everyone, the good guys and the bad guys.
So what on earth do we do? We're faced with this incredibly powerful, fundamentally untrustworthy, democracy-bending technology. We can't put the genie back in the bottle. The only way forward is to start, right now, building systems we can actually trust.
And the very first thing we have to accept is that the market is not going to solve this for us. A corporation's primary incentive is profit, not our collective well-being. It's just like how we rely on government to create the social trust that makes our food safe to eat or our planes safe to fly. We need government to step in and build the rules for a trustworthy AI ecosystem. Now, a really key piece of this puzzle could be a concept called the data fiduciary. We already do this in other really critical parts of our lives. Think about it. We give doctors and lawyers incredible access to our secrets, and in return, they have a legal and ethical duty, a fiduciary responsibility to act only in our best interests. We need that exact same kind of legal protection for our data. So this all leads to a pretty clear three-step game plan. First, we need a public AI option, something that's managed for the public good, not for corporate profit. Second, we need a new federal agency, kind of like an FAA but for AI, to regulate this stuff and limit the potential harms. And finally, we need to enforce real transparency, so we can all see how these systems are being built and how they're being used on us. And that really leaves us with one final urgent question. AI isn't some science fiction idea anymore. It's here now, and it is actively hacking the foundations of our society, our tax code, our laws, our elections. The race is officially on. We have this very small, closing window of opportunity to write the rules that govern AI before it starts writing the rules that govern us.